When billionaire CEO Marcus Blackwell received an anonymous letter with just 8 words, "Come see what you abandoned 7 years ago," he thought it was a cruel joke. But nothing could have prepared him for the truth waiting behind a rusty farm gate in the small town he swore he'd never return to. A truth that would shatter his empire and rebuild his soul. Before we dive into this emotional journey, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment telling us what city you're watching from. Stay until the very end. This story has a twist you won't see coming. Now, let's begin. The sleek black Mercedes looked completely out of place against the weathered wooden fence and overgrown wildflowers. Marcus stepped out, his $1,000 Italian loafers sinking into the dusty earth. The irony wasn't lost on him, a man who controlled boardrooms across 3 continents, now standing in front of a place that still held pieces of his heart. Willow Creek hadn't changed. The same rolling hills, the same endless sky, the same ache in his chest that money could never cure. Through the chain-link fence, he saw her. Sophia Reed was kneeling in the garden, her honey-blonde hair pulled back in a messy bun, dirt streaking her forearms. She was humming, actually humming, like someone who'd found peace in simplicity. The sight struck him harder than any business deal ever had. This was the woman he'd left behind, the woman who'd begged him not to choose New York over their life together. And she looked happy. Asterisk. But that happiness was about to shatter when she looked up and saw the ghost from her past standing at her gate. Asterisk. When Sophia finally noticed him, her entire body went rigid. The small garden spade fell from her hands. For 3 heartbeats, neither of them moved. Well, well. Her voice cut through the afternoon air like ice. The prodigal prince returns to his kingdom of dirt. Marcus swallowed hard. Sophia. 7 years, Marcus. She stood up slowly, deliberately wiping her hands on her worn jeans. 7 years of silence. Not a call, not a letter, not even a birthday card. And now you just show up? I received something. He held up the mysterious letter, his hand trembling slightly. Someone wanted me to see. To see what? Sophia laughed. But there was no humor in it. To see how well I survived without you? To see that I didn't crumble when you chose Wall Street over wedding vows? Well, congratulations, Marcus. You're seeing it. That's when he heard it. A child's laughter, bright and pure, floating from inside the small farmhouse. Marcus's head snapped toward the sound. Through the kitchen window, he saw her, a little girl with wild auburn curls, no more than 6 years old, standing on a step stool to reach the sink. She was washing vegetables, completely absorbed in her task, singing a song he couldn't quite make out. But it was her eyes that made his world stop spinning. Stormy gray eyes, the same unusual shade as the ones staring back at him every morning in the mirror. Who? Marcus's voice came out strangled. Who is that? Asterisk. The color drained from Sophia's face. And in that moment, Marcus knew his life was about to change forever. Asterisk. That's my daughter. Sophia's words were clipped, final. And it's none of your business. Your daughter. Marcus repeated the words like he was learning a foreign language. His eyes kept darting back to the window, to those impossible gray eyes. How old is she? Sophia's jaw clenched. 6. She just turned 6. The math was simple, brutal, devastating. Sophia. His voice cracked on her name. Please tell me. Leave, Marcus. She took a step toward him, her eyes blazing with 7 years of buried pain. You lost the right to ask questions the day you packed your bags and told me New York was more important than us. I never said that. You didn't have to. Sophia's composure finally broke. You chose, Marcus. You chose the penthouse over our apartment. You chose board meetings over Sunday breakfasts. You chose becoming a billionaire over becoming a husband. So, don't you dare stand there and act like you have any claim to answers. A small voice interrupted them. Mommy. They both turned. The little girl stood on the porch, her gray eyes wide with confusion and fear. She was clutching a stuffed rabbit, her bare feet dirty from running outside. Mommy, why are you crying? Sophia's hand flew to her face, touching the tears she hadn't realized were falling. She immediately shifted into mother mode, her voice gentle. "I'm okay, sweetheart. Go back inside. I'll be there in a minute." "Who's that man?" The girl pointed directly at Marcus, her child's intuition sensing the tension crackling in the air. Asterisk. This was the moment that would haunt Marcus Blackwell for the rest of his life. Asterisk. "Nobody, baby," Sophia said softly. "Just someone who was passing through." The words hit Marcus like a physical blow. Asterisk. Nobody. Asterisk. After everything they'd shared, every dream they'd built together in this very town, he'd become nobody. As Sophia gently ushered the child back inside, Marcus stood frozen, his mind racing. The timing, those eyes, the way Sophia had reacted. Asterisk. Dear God. Asterisk, he thought. Asterisk. Is she mine? Marcus checked into Willow Creek's only inn, the Riverside Lodge, a quaint bed and breakfast run by Mrs. Delacroix, a woman who remembered him from his youth. She didn't ask questions, but her knowing look said everything. That night, Marcus couldn't sleep. He sat by the window, staring at the distant lights from Sophia's farm, the mysterious letter crumpled in his fist. Asterisk, asterisk. Who sent this? And why now? Asterisk. Asterisk. The next morning, he started asking questions. Carefully, discreetly. He learned that Sophia had been pregnant when he left, though she'd hidden it well. He learned she'd raised her daughter alone, working 3 jobs initially until she could make the farm profitable. He learned the girl's name was Hazel, and he learned something else, something that made his blood run cold. 3 months ago, Hazel had been diagnosed with a rare heart condition. She needed surgery. Expensive surgery that even Sophia's modest savings and the small-town community's fundraising efforts could barely begin to cover. Asterisk. Marcus now faced an impossible choice: respect Sophia's wishes and leave, or force his way into a daughter's life who didn't even know he existed. Asterisk. Marcus returned to the farm 3 days later. This time, Sophia was waiting for him on the porch, arms crossed, looking like a warrior queen defending her castle. "I told you to leave. I know about Hazel's condition," Marcus said without preamble. "I know about the surgery. I know you're struggling to pay for it." Sophia's face went white, then red with fury. "How dare you dig into my life? Is she mine, Sophia?" The question exploded from him, raw and desperate. "Just tell me the truth. Is Hazel my daughter?" The silence that followed was deafening. Sophia's eyes filled with tears, and for the first time since he'd arrived, he saw her walls crack. She looked exhausted, worn down by years of carrying this burden alone. "Yes," she whispered. "Yes, she's yours." The world tilted. Marcus had to grab the porch railing to steady himself. "I was going to tell you," Sophia continued, her voice breaking. "I called you, Marcus. The day after you left for New York, I called to tell you I was pregnant. Do you know what your assistant said?" Marcus felt sick. "What?" Asterisk. "She said you were in a critical merger meeting and had given explicit instructions not to be disturbed for any reason. She said you'd made it clear you were done with small-town complications. So I hung up, and I never called again." Asterisk. "No." Marcus shook his head violently. "No, I never said that. I never—" "It doesn't matter what you said or didn't say." Sophia wiped her eyes roughly. "You made your choice, and I made mine. I chose to protect my daughter from a father who valued stock options over family." "Our daughter," Marcus corrected, his voice firm despite his shaking hands. "She's our daughter, and I want to help. The surgery, the medical bills, whatever she needs. We don't need your guilt money." Sophia's voice rose. "We don't need you swooping in like some hero to save the day with your checkbook. What you need," Marcus said quietly, "is someone who loves her enough to do whatever it takes to keep her alive. And whether you like it or not, whether you believe me or not, I already love her. I've loved her from the moment I saw those eyes. My eyes." What Sophia didn't expect was Marcus's persistence. He didn't leave town. Instead, He rented a small cottage on the edge of Willow Creek and started showing up. Not pushing, not demanding, just present. He fixed the broken fence posts. He helped harvest vegetables. He learned the names of the chickens. And slowly, carefully, he started to exist in Hazel's orbit. Asterisk. But just when it seemed like healing might be possible, a secret from Marcus's past arrived in town and threatened to destroy everything. Asterisk. A silver Porsche pulled up to the farm one afternoon. Out stepped Victoria Sterling, Marcus's business partner, and, as the town gossip quickly spread, his ex-fiancée from New York. There you are. Victoria's voice dripped with false sweetness. Marcus, the board is having a meltdown. You can't just abandon the company for some nostalgia trip. Sophia, who'd been teaching Hazel how to braid flower crowns, looked up sharply. Ex-fiancé? Marcus's face drained of color. Victoria, this isn't the time. You were engaged? Sophia stood up, her whole body radiating betrayal. When? 2 years ago. Victoria answered, examining her manicured nails. Briefly. Until Marcus got cold feet. He has a pattern of running from commitment, doesn't he? Asterisk. But what Marcus said next shocked everyone, including himself. I broke off the engagement, Marcus said, his eyes locked on Sophia's. Because I realized I was trying to replace someone irreplaceable. I was trying to fill a Sophia-shaped hole in my life with someone who could never come close. Victoria knew it. I knew it. The engagement was a mistake I corrected. Victoria's smile faltered. Marcus, go back to New York, Victoria. Sign the papers I sent you. As of yesterday, I'm no longer CEO. I sold my majority shares. Sophia gasped. Even Victoria looked stunned. You did what? I liquidated everything, Marcus explained after Victoria stormed off. The penthouse, the shares, the cars. I kept enough to live comfortably and set up a trust fund for Hazel's future. The rest, he pulled out a certified check, goes to her surgery and a scholarship fund for other sick children in Willow Creek. Sophia stared at the check, tears streaming down her face. Marcus, you didn't have to. I had to, he said simply. Because I finally understand. I spent 7 years building an empire that meant nothing. I want to spend the next 70 years building something real. With you. With Hazel. If you'll let me. Mommy? Hazel's small voice interrupted them. She'd been watching from the porch, her stuffed rabbit tucked under her arm. Is that man my daddy? Sophia's breath caught. She looked at Marcus, then at her daughter, then back at Marcus. In his eyes, she saw something she'd never seen 7 years ago. Certainty. Not about wealth or success, but about what truly mattered. Come here, sweetheart, Sophia said gently. Hazel walked over slowly, looking up at Marcus with those knowing gray eyes. You have eyes like me. Marcus crouched down to her level, his own eyes suspiciously bright. I do. I'm sorry it took me so long to find you. Are you going to leave again? Hazel asked, with the brutal honesty only children possess. Never, Marcus promised. Not ever again. If your mom will let me stay, I want to be here for your surgery, for your first day of school, for every scraped knee, and every bad dream. I want to teach you how to ride a bike and embarrass you at your graduation. I want all of it. Hazel considered this seriously. Then she held out her stuffed rabbit. This is Mr. Hopscotch. He's been my protector. But maybe you could help? Marcus took the rabbit with trembling hands, understanding the weight of the gesture. I would be honored. 6 months later, Hazel's surgery was a complete success. Marcus was there when she woke up, holding her hand on one side while Sophia held the other. They were a family unconventional, fractured, and healing, but a family nonetheless. Marcus had learned to plant lavender, Sophia's favorite, in the fields surrounding the farmhouse. As they stood among the purple blooms one evening, Hazel asleep inside after a day of playing, Sophia finally spoke the words she'd been holding back. I forgive you. Marcus pulled her close. I don't deserve it. No, she agreed, smiling through tears. But love isn't about deserving, It's about choosing. Every single day. And I choose this. I choose us. As the sun set over Willow Creek, painting the sky in shades of lavender and gold, Marcus understood the truth he'd been running from his entire life. Asterisk. Asterisk. The greatest wealth isn't measured in dollars, it's measured in moments. In laughter. In second chances. In the courage to come home. Asterisk. Asterisk. And for the first time in 7 years, Marcus Blackwell was finally, truly, home. Asterisk. Asterisk. What did you think of Marcus and Sophia's journey? Drop a comment below and rate this story from 0 to 10. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. We share powerful stories of love, redemption, and second chances every week. Click the videos on your screen for more emotional stories that will touch your heart. Asterisk. Asterisk.